Interesting.
So are there certain sectors, certain verticals that are ahead of the curve, as you mentioned, a little bit more adventurous? I would imagine something like, we hear about smart grids all the time, smart meters, and all of that data coming in and being able to look at those patterns. Are there, sectors that are leading the charge?
Absolutely, and that's kind of where energy management fits in, and it's something that we've been spending a lot of time on recently. So, in the world of energy management, every major building facility has an energy management system, and it is often what we say. I mean, it's a largely untapped industry in being able to recognize how much money is being spent on, lighting, cooling, heating, oil consumption, gas consumption. How much energy is retained from solar panels and water and everything that goes into a building. And there are modules out there. The one that we use the most is BACnet. It's BACnet, and one of the key contributors to that specifications is one of the key minds here behind us at Function1, and we've been able to kind of harness that information in that industry and help customers recognize the value in monitoring, what your facilities are doing, right? And inherently, what that means is that, lower utilities, right? Less identifying waste, more reuse. It gives you, the business owners and like C-level people that are looking at, energy consumption to say, hey, we can save millions of dollars if we just look at, how we're consuming our energy. So energy management has multiple facets. I mean, so there's obviously the element that I just talked about, but it's also the concept of energy dashboards, where the government, has incentivized obviously the use, the reuse, and the better consumption of energy in the world, up to millions of dollars in credits that are given back to companies for using things in a better way. Now, the interesting thing about this is, as we've gotten knee-deep in exploring energy management with BACnet, making it available on Drupal as a front end, we've discovered that these data sets are massive. I say the term massive data sets quite often, but truly the amount of information coming out of these systems far exceeds what we see in the security realm. And that's the next level, right? I mean, when you're looking at okay, you're looking at big data. The most common thing to look at big data is for security, but if you were to approach, let's say an apartment complex or a building owner, where you're saying, hey, you have these energy management systems in play, how about we cut your utilities down by a third based off looking at using these machines a little more effectively. So a little known fact on this is that almost every building produced in the last 10 years has this system available to it. Even new buildings, they're built to a new standard, and that those standards are completely BACnet compatible, such that you can build these energy dashboards based off the data sets you have, trend over it over time, have tons of data back behind it, produce the dashboard, make it available to those that care, and inherently save millions of dollars.
Yeah, and it's a win-win, right? Because as you mentioned, the companies save, but also I can vouch from a user's perspective here in California with the drought. The amount of analytics that I see on my bill, and there's actually actions related to each of those metrics that has actually helped me reduce my bill. So it's a win for the customer, for the energy companies, and we get to do something good for the environment. So that's always great. Great,
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
Absolutely, and like the best part about using BACnet, on top of Drupal is that it's free. It's easy to install and it's extendable, right? So it's, as long as the customer looks at it from that perspective, get this deployed, it's painless.
Yep. Free is good. You can't argue with that, right?
Absolutely.
So I know that there's a lot happening around Flunk. There was a big release, I think 6.2. And wanted to get your thoughts on any of the new features and functionality as it relates to some of the use cases we just talked about.
So I mean, the biggest changes in Splunk 6.2 are around performance and around ease of management. So regarding performance, I mean, there's concepts like instant pivot, which basically gives you a faster, more real-time access to your data. Well, real time's relative, but but it's a faster
Right time.
access to your data, so that you have a better way and quicker way of looking at these large data sets to be able to manipulate that data into a visualization and that's meaningful and relevant. The other things around distributed management, it historically is something they've kind of merged all together. So you can see the entire world of what's going on in your Splunk environment from one pane of glass. Now, historically, this was accomplished through a series of utilities that were either built by Splunk or built by people in the ecosystem, and you kind of you could get all the information you were looking for, but you never were able to get it all in one place, and that's something that is new to 6.2. And then in addition to that, there's a pretty massive change on the UI. And to a customer looking at it initially, they might think, wow, this is totally different. How am I going to adapt? But the message is that it's actually very similar under the hood. You get an immediate, more modern look and feel, as soon as you upgrade or as soon as you install it. There's nothing to be afraid about. Under the hood, it all works the same. You just get a lot more usability and features out of the new release that are focused on being able to build dashboards quicker, build reports quicker, using panels and using instant pivot, getting better management, and things of that nature.
That's great. Well, that's all the time we have for today, but great catch up with you, Sandeep, and glad to hear things are going well with Function1. And on behalf of Urshad and myself, thanks for hanging out with us today. Have a good day, guys.
Take care, guys.
Cheers. Bye.